All right, everybody. Um, Welcome back to another episode of The Relative Ability. I am Emily, one of the co-hosts today. And I, along with Kurt Roscoe and Denise Fergus, I'm joined by Denise and Miss Alistair Banks. Um, how is everybody today?
We're doing great. I'm doing great. How are you, Alistair? I'm so excited to find out more about you. You are an amazing author. Tell us a little bit more.
Yes, so my name is Alistair. I am a multi generational author, which means for an author that they write across various genres. So I do children, I do poetry, I have three gratitude journals, I do Christian fiction for young adults, and also I have cookbooks that are also available on ebook. And I do motivational speaking, and I have a blog as well.
Wow. You are definitely multi generational for sure. Wow. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about uh, any particular genre that you favor more than the other?
I probably favor the children's genre a little bit more because growing up, I had a wild and big imagination for children's stories. And my Mrs. John saw that I just, love fun and adventure. I love just coming up with like creative rhyming little stories about, just children or animals of that nature. And so I've written now a colorful balloon ride and Lady the Lizard and his green scarf, and a colorful balloon ride helps preschoolers and kindergartners how to identify and match colors. And then Lady the Lizard teaches preschoolers and kindergartners the importance of sharing is caring and kindness and empathy. So when I was in the fourth grade, I wrote a picture story for children called The Sorcerer and the Magic Pond. And so Henry learned to use his powers for good enough for evil to help the princess Hera to grow out her hair long all over again.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is so beautiful. That as an adult, we tend to forget about our imaginative self. We are not as creative as we were when we were and do all this, fantastical stuff in our minds, and we would see it so clearly in our minds and just have so much fun with it. I love that.
Collection of poetry, and that tells about some of the emotions and feelings I struggle with, came to love in my 20s and college years, which was isolation and fear, identity crisis, trust, anxiety, intimacy, or just some of the things and experiences that I went through. So just kind of shedding a light on that, inspiring those to know that they're not alone when it comes to, ex- you know, they're not alone when it comes to battling these things when it comes to a love relationship.
Wow. That's very interesting because here in World of Abilities, we do try and emphasize abilities and not really focus on any challenges. But I myself am a wheelchair user, so my um, challenge is visible, but there's a lot of invisible challenges that people don't really realize. And
Mhm.
it's wonderful that you found ways to cope with it, and you've developed your own tools. So that's amazing, and with us in the world because so many people need that, especially now during the pandemic. That many people have been isolated and they're struggling with a lot of feelings of fear and being alone. And so, thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I had three gratitude journals as well, and those are called the Gratitude Journal for Kids, Show Life and Yourself Some Love, which is a gratitude journal for teens, and Be Positive, a positivity journal for adults. My cookbooks are called 40 Recipes to Tackle Diabetes and 40 Recipes for a Better Weight Loss. And my novels are Girl Rise and Cracking the Happy Weight Code. And my other poetry book is called Spring Brings Summer.
Ah, I love it. I am a summer girl myself, so I'm not a big winter fan. So spring brings summer. I definitely think I'm going to check that one out because that is totally me.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun being able to write Spring Bring Summer and just talk about some of the favorite memories that I share with my mom at the beach and admiring nature and flowers outside in our own backyard. And also Easter was one of my favorite times of the year as a child, and being able to get, your Easter basket on Easter and seeing all the little toys or the candies, little knickknacks that my mom would give me, and just being able to celebrate and go to church. Jesus, um, Jesus rose again from the dead. So
Uh, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to love Easter too. Me and my sister would always get some new Easter outfits, and it'd be so much fun, and all the pastel colors, and then the Easter egg hunt. So that was a lot of fun as well, for sure.
yeah, and I did, Easter egg hunts growing up as well too. And I got to dye Easter eggs too. So
Oh yeah, that was so much fun.
yeah.
So, Sarah, you have children. How do you see that you can maybe use some of these journals or books to even inspire your children? Because I know your children are special needs children, and definitely journals can help in situations like that.
We definitely use a lot of gratitude journaling to express our emotions and teach um, all of my children how to better express their emotions because having everyone, literally, my youngest was also just diagnosed as being on the spectrum. So now I have three on the spectrum and one with um, Down syndrome.
Mm.
And we use gratitude journals to ensure that we are expressing our emotions properly and that if anybody has, especially for the older two, if anyone has any emotions that they necessarily don't want to share, then they can do that in a more positive way. So I will definitely have to check those out.
Yeah, that's so great because especially there are times that even for adults, we have a hard time expressing to others what we're feeling, or maybe we don't want to be judged, or but having a space to write it down and know that it's just you, the pen and the paper. That's it, right? So it really lets you open up and get whatever you're feeling out without judgment.
Yes, absolutely.
That is super important.
Yeah. So, Alistair, is there, first of all, that is such a beautiful name. I love that name. Is there any particular, um, I know that you mentioned that your dad was in the military. Did this also help to inspire you to be a writer?
Yes, it also helped to inspire me to be a writer too, and I hope sometime in the near future I can just write about his story of being in the military and his experience in Vietnam.
Mm, yeah, that's something that we can totally, we a lot of people in the military. Like I know that Kurt, Emily, Sarah, and I, we work a lot with people, um, vets who unfortunately they are, committing suicide at a unbelievable rate.
Mhm.
So it would be great to perhaps even get your story out there when you do write that, so that they can also uh, see that there's life after the military.
Yeah.
That's very important. Um, so we here, like I said before, we do speak a lot on different ways that we can cope with our challenges, or um, how the world is, whether it's the lack of accessibility, or so we do try and share resources with one another. Is there anything that you could share, or anything you'd like to speak on when it comes to different challenges, whether it's a visible or an invisible challenge?
Well, when I was growing up, I had a learning disability, and it was actually reading comprehension. And so I had to seek help from resource teachers, and they had to just pull me to the side and teach me how to read paragraphs, and to stop in the middle of a paragraph and say, okay, what's this paragraph about? What is the sentence? What is the main point of this sentence? And those were sort of the prompts that my teachers gave me to do to overcome my learning disability of reading comprehension.
Huh. And look at that. You went from having difficulty in reading to being an author. I'm like, how great is that? So the teachers must have been fabulous, obviously, to get you from that point to this. Like,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Sarah, do you have any resources or any points that you'd like to share, particularly in invisible challenges, from especially with Alistair going from not being able to read easily to being an author, being able to write now creatively?
No particular thing that I'd like to speak on in particular, but that's definitely something that I'm going to share with my oldest. She is in the process of being diagnosed as dyslexic, and she's really going through some hard times with reading comprehension. So she's kind of been down on herself as of late. And if you don't mind, I'd love to be able to share that story with her so that she can get a little bit more confidence and know that there are people out there who have struggled with the same thing and have gone on to become successful, such as yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That there's always a way. We just have to get creative, um, and tweak things to work for us. And I always say that with my company, it's called Live Creatively, because all my life I've been living creatively, and I've been having to tweak things to work for me. So it's amazing, Allison, that you've learned that, especially since you were always creative and imaginative, that you became so successful in using that imagination.
Yes, most definitely. And I think writing for me was just, therapeutic at the time, as, during my childhood, it was pretty, complex. And I guess probably between the ages of 6 and 9 years old, my parents' marriage got complicated. And so therefore, they, decided to separate and file for divorce, which was all in for the best. But, as a child, that's hard to see your parents, grow apart. But, you have to do what's best for both parties and for the children at stake, and for, the stability of the household. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting that you mentioned that you would write really for therapeutic purposes. And you went from writing or let's go back a little bit further. You went from not being able to read um, as easily to reading easier to reading for therapeutic purposes,
Yeah.
and now you're an author. It's just, I just would just like to emphasize again that
Yeah.
you went from having your challenges, and again, we're here at World of Ability speaking about abilities and not focusing on our disabilities, but our abilities. So you went from your challenge to success.
Yeah.
Love that. It's unbelievable. So yeah, it's I myself actually am in the middle of a book project as well, and it is very therapeutic, as you said, to just get everything out there and journaling. I can't say enough how important that is, and even like with the gratitude journals, it's so important to just be grateful for all the little things. You know, sometimes we're only focused on big things, but it's all the little things that are important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who, Edwin Edberry, he says that he's grateful for all the things. He always even says thank you to his car keys, because if he's not grateful for his car keys, he can't put it in there, start his car to go to everywhere he wants to go to. So yeah, all the little things. It's important to be grateful. We're always focused on what we can't do or what we don't have. But if we are a little bit more focused on every little thing that we do have, every little thing that we can do, you'd be surprised how there's a lot more of positivity in our lives than negativity.
Yes, absolutely. Just being able to be grateful for the little things that you do have, like you said, like that person's car keys. Being grateful that you have a roof over your head, a bed to sleep in, food and water and clothes on your back.
For sure. As I mentioned before, I am a wheelchair user, and I was having a lot of issues for the past a month with one of my wheels in my caster, but I'm still able to move. Right? Uh, it still has me mobile. I'm not stuck in any one position, so I'm grateful for that. Initially, yes, I was very upset that it's taken so long to fix, and it's still going to take about another 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm.
But I could focus on getting mad and upset and cursing and screaming and having an attitude with everybody. Or I can focus on, hey, I can still move. You know, it's still functioning. It's still getting me from point A to point B. So it's okay. It's gonna get fixed. It's gonna be fine. And it's so much easier to be at peace than to be all fired up with anxiety and being mad.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. So how about you, Sarah? How do you deal with things that don't go right in your life?
That's almost a daily thing as both a self-employed entrepreneur and a mom of three special needs children. Things don't always go according to plan. So I believe it was either Jimmy Buffett or Jerry Garcia who said that life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. So I just sort of roll with it. And at the end of the day, I write everything out in a journal, whether I'm frustrated, upset, happy, sad, whatever the emotions might be. I write everything out, and then I tend to burn that.
I love that. I heard somebody else, a few people say that once they write everything out, whatever is bothering them or whatever negativity they're having in their life or struggle that they're having in their life at that moment, they write it all down and then they burn it. It's like, that's it. I put it there, it's gone. I used to say, I put it in a bubble and then I blow it away.
I've actually had a therapist recommend blowing bubbles to do that. And believe it or not, as silly as it sounds, it's actually very helpful. I just finished a course in my program called
page, it will make you feel so much better.
Yes, and I love coloring books because my mom bought me a thick coloring book for Christmas. It was about like that thick, and it had numerous like coloring pages. It was a beautiful book, and so I colored in it like for hours.
Yeah, very therapeutic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for coming on to the Worlds of Ability, brought to you through Transform Your Media and the PAC channel. So for those of you listening, please like, share, subscribe, comment. We want to hear what you guys got to say. And if you want to be on the show, definitely connect with us. We'd love to have you. Until then, I am Denise Vargas from Worlds of Ability, along with Sarah Goodell, Emily Goldberg, Kurt Roskopf, and our amazing guest, Alistair Banks. Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you.
you next
Day.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.
Where are you?
Wait. Are we going? Are we still continuing, or are we done? Phineas, Sarah? Oops. Ah. Yeah. All right, hold on.
So we're going to give you kind of an in-depth look in terms of what I deal with in my life. So this is amazing what happens to me and what I get thrown into, and it's happening now. And you're going to get a confrontation right here by yours truly, Kurt Roskopf, because it's amazing to me what happens in life. Life throws you curveballs. We do our best for other people, and it seems like we just have to keep upping our game, keep getting a little bit more unusual, a little bit more wild, a little bit more ridiculous, because sometimes it's really tough. What goes on inside has a tough time coming out, and people have a lot of appetite to kind of change the game plan. Right now I need Emily Gomer to please put us up on the Zoom. If we can have a screen share on Zoom. We're just gonna do this in kind of giving a little behind the scenes view of Kurt Roskopf producing, podcasting, kind of addressing what goes on. So here we go. All right, we got our Zoom going. So very good. Yeah, we had an author here. We had Denise and Sarah going ahead and taking care of a half-hour segment. We had talked about a half-hour segment last week, but I had kind of instructed that we were going to keep the format of this to an hour, and this is ended now. Emily, I need this to be brought back up. Right now, we are live on the initial podcast. I need a little bit of instruction. I'm seeing that the live ended at 31:48. So I need to consult with our podcast engineer, Emily Gulmer. Please get us live again. Thank you. So right now I'm typing on StreamYard. Emily, please get us live again so that we're not in this ended stage. I don't know if we're going to have to go to another StreamYard link or what we're going to have to do, but Emily, please advise. So I'm over on Zoom saying, please. See, and now I got my phone ringing. Let's see who's calling.
Ring, ring. It's not me.
It's Barbara Weinstein. So Barbara Weinstein is needing help to get on. So we'll see how we do getting Barbara on. I'm trying to see what my responsiveness is to Emily to get StreamYard live again. And if I'm caught in a loop, not getting StreamYard. Let's see, I need to make sure there's no.
Oh, what did I just do?
I was just gonna say we need to borrow the rights to the Jeopardy theme.
We'll have some background music for our viewers next time.
mounting up, and things get a little bit more dramatic, drastic, and just out of control. So this is Kurt Roscoff coming at you ballistic and saying, let's get a handle on what's going on in our lives, and let's get things smoothed out, and let's adapt. Let's be accommodating. Let's be inclusive. Let's make sure everybody's involved. That is the mantra. The world of ability is for everybody. We're taking everybody everywhere, getting logistics down. We're using technology. We're going old school. We're thinking of what can we learn from the Amish? What can we learn from the Mennonites? What can we learn from people who just unplug from the grid? And let's rid ourselves of culture, customs, genetic memory. Let's just reboot the whole planet, shall we? We're bringing it out here, big time, World of Ability. It is founded from back in 2020, July 26th, 2020, the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So it's a passion to say, yeah, we here in America back in 1990 did a great thing to get legislation going to help people. We expect people with disabilities to be greatly involved. And this means, just as a conversation starter, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, deaf community, blind community, people with physical disabilities, people dealing with chronic pain, those who have a mental health diagnosis, and everybody who has a goal of substance use reduction. We go on and on from there, learning about people who have sensitivity to electromagnetic radiation, the EMFs, the EMF fields, electromagnetic fields, and we have sensitivity to fragrances, to perfumes. And so anything that makes it tough for people to participate, we say we don't need it to be so goddamn tough. And let's just get people in and let's figure out with the world of wisdom, what can we do to pull from the knowledge commons and make it something that we can handle and we can help other people enjoy. And when we talk about enjoy, we mean that, hey, what are we doing to have fun together? Like, say, listening to the World of Ability. I hope you find the next 25 minutes immensely entertaining. We are going to have a team meeting coming up here with Happy Happening Heroes. We're going to, in a sense of its own right, it's going to be a little bit of a World of Ability team meeting, because things are going to come out of me that my friends here have never seen come from me before. And how appropriate we have it happening right here with Barbara Weinstein, our friend, someone that we want here every week, that we love dearly. And to say, Barbara is the color commentator that brings these life experiences that none of the rest of us are. Barbara, when you talk, you're saying things that I can't offer. I'm 50 years old and I've never offered it. I don't know if I perceive ever in my life. I'm going to offer the perspective you bring. So Barbara, we've been missing you for weeks and you're back on. What's been on your mind? What do you want to share? The microphone is yours. Take it away. Feel free.
Thank you, Ken. You can hear me now?
Yeah, we do hear you. You're coming through good. You're live on StreamYard. Way to go.
Oh my gosh. And here I am with this idea of cause and effect, and we're creating the future. With this moment that we have right now, we're making causes to create a brighter future and trying to understand the mind-body connection and the connection with loving nature and knowing how to love each other, how to communicate. Reading the book, The 5 Languages of Love. I don't know how many people have come across this book yet, but it makes a lot of sense. It says we all have different love languages, ways that we perceive we're being loved, makes us feel the energy that we get when we're being loved, and how to help each other have that. Like people going around with somehow these empty love tanks, and all the different ways by serving somebody, by gift giving, by giving words of assurance, words of appreciation, by quality time, by doing work, helping other people. There's so many ways to help other people feel loved and to understand the differences a Kyrgyz couple, and they were given an assignment that the next month they would not say anything critical at all. They would stop themselves from saying anything critical or even demanding, and they would find the good things they were seeing in the person closest to them, and they would acknowledge that with words. And at the end of the month, the man was just flying. He was going, "Whoa, made such a difference in our relationship. That was so great." But the woman said she's still feeling very sad and lonely because words of that I love you or you look beautiful, those didn't help fill her. What was helping her was somebody spending quality time with her and working on things together. That's what she needed, and that's what made her feel loved. That people are doing. I think conversation just between two people in some part of Africa will affect how we're smelling the flowers here. That idea of the butterfly, right? That we're all connected to each other. And I can't wait till those connections become stronger so people can come and spend time with me, and I can go other places, and we can help each other, and we can stay in that momentum of I have a lot to share, I'm strong and we're free, and together we can make the impossible possible. We can do anything, and definitely we can have fun and be happy together. And thank you so much, Kurt, Denise, Emily. Thank you so much, and Mary Ann. I'm so glad that we're family, and I'm accepted as a family.
Oh yeah, you're accepted in a big way, accepted with a capital A. And so we're gonna bring in our podcast engineer, Emily Gulmer. Emily, if you can go ahead and get your video on, get your mic on. We want to bring you in. We want to share the experience we're having with our audience, and we're going to finish this segment up strong. And then I need to have a check-in. We have Sarah Goodell here yet? Trying to do a roll call. Who's here? Because I can't see everybody. I don't have the controls that Emily has. We're simulcasting over on.
I'm still here, Kurt.
All right, Sarah. So, Sarah, did you by chance get to hear everything Barbara just said? Any reactions or any feedback?
I did. Everything she said was absolutely lovely, and I firmly believe that if we were all just a little bit kinder to one another and a little bit more I can talk today. I really can. I promise you. Accepting of other people's challenges and different abilities and such, but the world would be just a little bit better of a place.
All right, exactly. This is all about making the world a better place. Many of us connected through the Happy Neighborhood Project, spreading happiness around the world. And there's been discussions in the months past from our Chief Happiness Officer, Edwin Edeberry, that there's this thing that people become satisfied in, trying your best and all that kind of stuff. And, we can point out that a lot of us don't know what our best is. And that's what I hope happens here at the World of Ability. I hope right as a matter of like the next 15 minutes, I hope people might start thinking, you know what? Maybe I can make my best better. Maybe it can be about my better best. We heard from Edwin Edeberry yesterday or maybe it wasn't Edwin. Somebody was saying yesterday that if we're not growing, we're dying. I think that was Edwin. Yeah, if we're not growing, we're dying. So the idea is, what are we doing to grow? What is our plan to go from today, May 7th, 2022? Just do the carpe diem thing, seize the day, make the most of today, but then follow that pattern of plan, do, and review. And how are we reaching inside of ourselves to say, we're at this milestone in our life. This moment is a milestone, and, this is what we've got. And what are we doing? Denise says, we don't know our expiration date. And the meaning behind it is, let's be optimistic that we've got many years to come. But the other idea of it is, a lot of people passed on thinking that they had the remainder to a day, and that wasn't the truth. They woke up on a day thinking they had many years to come. They didn't make it the rest of the day. So we just don't know. And so we have to live in that vulnerability, that mortality, that honest wrestling that we do, with that, life is limited. Life goes fleeting by. And Emily, I want to call you up here. We're calling you out, Emily. Come on in here. Let's get that, video on, and let's get that microphone on. Join the conversation. You're a rich part of this show. Emily Gallmer right there at the beginning, working with me back in July when we were doing the Ability MK Now shows, and we were getting Anna Maria Bliven involved in radio show production and seeing how Marcus Hart works, taking the radio shows and putting them out to Transform You Media Network. And then through Helen Weaver, Helen that introduced me to Barbara. If it weren't for our sister, Helen Weaver, Barbara wouldn't be on this call. Everybody is a link to possibilities in our life. Yeah, so Helen, participates with us in past years on Ability MK Now radio show, experiences how Marcus Hart does the simulcasting over to Transform You Media Network and everything with Anna Maria Bliven, creating the Prosperity Pathways radio show and podcast, and taking a look at who this guy Marcus Hart is and looking at the Transform You Media side, and lo and behold, there's John Morley, who does the J Moore Tech Talk show, the J Moore Tech Talk show on Transform You Media Network. And she took a look at, who is this John Morley? Looking at his profile, seeing that he's a co-host with the Happy Neighborhood Project New Jersey co-host team, and looked into what is this Happy Neighborhood Project thing, goes to a meeting and thinks, Kurt, this is what we got to do. We got to network at HMP, and just binging on happiness with the Happy Neighborhood Project. And so, yeah, that set us on our way. And then we come to meet Zach Clayton, who has Pact podcast all coming together, a production from Community Pay It Forward, and we continue on with Zach, and we connect into the veterans thing We do our February event responding to veteran suicide, and that inspires more veteran events. And we're involved in a returning veteran event, Hope Stock, that is coming back July 29th, 30th, 31st. We had a meeting several hours ago, a handful of hours ago. We were on Zoom meeting with some friends, you know, majority of which are here right now in this call. And, you know, we did some planning for Hope Stock to make that July event, which it's coming in on us. It's like 10 weeks away and it'll be here. So we're doing countdown on our meetings, and we're doing all of this at the same time as connecting to a ginormous social work project. You know, $20 million project, group taking over a mall in Milwaukee and having every other week Tuesday, they have a group in Milwaukee meet, and they meet over dinner. And so it's a setting that's not conducive to bring to the outside world. And I brought that up, and I'm like, hey, I'm asking for a meeting that can go out on Zoom. And we did that a week ago, and it was quite noisy there. It was not a good way for people to listen in. And so we're regrouping. We're going to a radio station. We're going to a conference room at a radio station. There's going to be 8 of them there that are going to be like our panelists for this project.
and it's something I can appreciate because
I saw that in education too. There's tools out there and not everybody's getting access to them, but I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, it's all good stuff. I mean, that's the point, is that once you get into these conversations, it becomes an exercise of the more you know, the more you realize what you don't know.
That we can get organizations to have these in place for us. And then also, if we wanted to ourselves be able to get these different types of wheelchairs, like even people who play basketball or tennis, there's so many different types of wheelchairs. Unfortunately, we're not able to get them all. So again, we need to advocate and work together to really try and change the mindset of everyone so that we can have access to that. So I'm really happy that you brought that up.
I'm happy I brought it up too, and we are in the concluding minutes of this show. Mariana Waikiki, we're just going to keep this going for a couple minutes. Go ahead, Marianne, take the mic. What did you bring to us for today? Is Marianne still here? Emily, I need a little podcast engineering help. Did she drop off, or you're muted? She dropped? We lost her? All right, Emily, go ahead and finish up the show for us, please. Give us your 3 minutes. It's all you. All right, we'll bring it back to Mariana Waikiki. We've got just a couple minutes here. Emily and Marianne. Marianne, we'll let you have the mic right now. Take a couple minutes. What did you bring to us today?
Well, aloha, and thank you so much. I'm shifting the happiness over to you. I want to share that May is Better Speech and Hearing Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. And I am so grateful that Brian Roosh is helping me upload my sign language characters to the Acts of Kindness series website that is being federally trademarked with our Happy Neighborhood Project intellectual property attorney, Dr. Liddy. So you're going to want to go check out the website. It's actsofkindnessseries.com. Kurt, I don't know if you could pull it up for me at the same time. I had a one-on-one with Nick Davis from Happy Neighborhood Projects out of Texas and his medical billing. And he helped review the website too, because he has triplet daughters. And we discussed me doing a lunch and learn speaking event. And I'm putting it out to the world for a 30-day finger spelling challenge for the month of May. So you can visit my website, meet with Chelsea the Courageous Sign Language Chicken, and Eve the Finger Spelling Bumblebee. That's now on Brian Roosh's YouTube. So we're uploading all this amazing work. as we can. Again, waiting trademarks by Dr. Liddy and Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab. And I've uploaded a couple more Apple games. I've had some challenges this week with my Fiverr team, but they are working very creatively in Pakistan for me. I'm working with my designer right now to outline the sequel book, Cool Acts of Kindness, for the first chapter. And I'm using another writer. So we're testing the waters with him, just getting these ideas flowing and going for climate change and a charity concert and with a charity app games now, Kurt. So anybody who wants to partner with me, we can discuss how you can use these app games to make charity funds for your organization. For example, I know you've done golf outings, and we have Greta Gobble on the golf course, which is going to be featured in the first chapter. And the first chapter's name I'm going to put is Charity Revolution for Climate Change, featuring our own Trevor Gibbs and his organization. And these characters come together for to create a charity event to discuss how their environment, such as the rain forest on the Big Island or any other forests, or can be impacted by climate change and lead to homelessness, lack of food, and also our eco anxiety, how people can feel worldwide, especially for children, which is a huge topic now. So I'm excited to work on this climate change and using all this creativity and bringing it to life. And again, everybody can see it now from thought to action on actsofkindnessseries.com. And we're shifting the happiness and working on the t-shirts design line too. So had some challenges with that with Amazon. I can't use that little heart logo. So you know what the world gives me shows that you can overcome these challenges with or without an ability, and the ability just strives. That's why we're all here. So thank you so much for these world of abilities, and back to you, Kurt. I am happy.
All right, so now we're going to wake up our podcast engineer, Emily Gulmer, get her attention. We've got a screen share here. We're going to give that actsofkindnessseries.com a little bit of glimpse as we wrap up this episode here. We're putting in a little bit of bonus time here. Emily, are we screen sharing